Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that is literally reshaping the internet right beneath our feet. We're talking about the feedback loop of AI slop and data poisoning. Now, we hear a ton of grand promises about artificial intelligence these days, right? But behind the scenes, there's this rapidly escalating, almost invisible technical threat involving poisoned data, copyright issues, and just a massive influx of synthetic information. By the end of this explainer, you're going to have a crystal clear understanding of exactly how this works and what it means for the future of our digital world. Okay, let's kick things off with a piece of advice you should absolutely, definitely never follow. Put glue on your pizza to help the cheese from sliding off. Now, this wasn't a joke from a comedian. This was an actual, real search result provided by Google's AI, Gemini. Tech companies really love to push this narrative of AI being a highly intelligent, infallible tutor on every smartphone, right? Like this all-knowing co-pilot just waiting to solve all our problems. But examples exactly like this one completely debunk that idea. I mean, it hooks our attention because it forces us to ask, if this tech is supposedly so advanced, why on earth is it telling us to eat Elmer's glue?
Notice the specific terminology these tech companies use to explain away those glaring errors. They call them hallucinations. It's a very deliberate, humanizing term, kind of designed to make us feel like the AI is just making a mistake, the way a tired person might. But the reality is way more mechanical. Generative AI is not actually thinking. It doesn't have a giant database of hard facts that it's checking. It is fundamentally a highly enhanced predictive autocomplete system. It's just guessing the next most mathematically plausible word based on what it was trained on. It doesn't actually know anything, which is exactly why it can confidently present absolute nonsense as unquestionable fact.
To put some real numbers to this, researchers at Purdue University did a brilliant study that really illustrates the sheer scale of this inaccuracy. They tested ChatGPT with programming questions, and it got them wrong 52% of the time. Over half. But here's the crazy part. Because it produces text that sounds so authoritative and so plausible, the human users overlooked that misinformation a staggering 40% of the time. It's honestly functioning exactly like that guy at a cocktail party who's had a few too many drinks. He has no clue what he's talking about, but he speaks with such absolute confidence that he manages to sound smart. And these aren't just isolated little incidents anymore. They are scaling up into a massive, macro-level problem. 50%. Researchers calculate that right now, about 50% of new articles appearing online are generated entirely by AI. Think about that for a second. We have officially reached a tipping point where the internet is becoming deeply saturated with content that has had zero human involvement. Half of what's fresh on the web today is just being spat out by those exact same predictive text systems we just established are frequently wrong. So the crucial question here is why? Why flood the internet with all this stuff? Well, it all comes down to financial incentives and ad revenue. On one hand, we have what we actually want when we search for something, like a simple, easy-to-follow human recipe. But on the other hand, we have what we usually end up getting, which is this rambling, heavily padded blog post just stuffed full of irrelevant stories. People have figured out that they can use AI to mass-produce these padded, useless websites at essentially zero cost. They pump them full of search engine keywords, plaster them with ads, and just sit back to collect fractions of a cent for every accidental click. It is the absolute industrialization of what we're now calling AI slop. Which brings us to the core technical danger of this whole situation. Let's walk through this incredibly dangerous feedback loop. Step 1. Search engine and AI web crawlers scrape the internet for human-written text so they can train their models. Step 2, people use those newly trained models to generate cheap, flawed text, the slop. Step 3, the web rapidly fills up with all this synthetic content. And then, here is the fatal flaw in step 4. When tech companies send those automated crawlers back out to scrape more data to train their next generation of AI, they inadvertently ingest the very same AI slop they helped create in the first place. This phenomenon is often referred to in the tech world as AI inbreeding, and it leads to a critical system failure known as model collapse. Here's why. Because AI just creates a statistical average of the data it consumes, training an AI on AI-generated data creates an average of an average. Remember how we just talked about how these systems hallucinate and make up facts? Well, if even 5% of that new AI slop on the web contains false info, and that slop goes directly back into the training data, the entire knowledge base starts getting poisoned. Over time, the model degrades entirely and starts outputting increasingly weird, inaccurate, and distorted garbage. Because of this looming, very real threat of data poisoning, tech companies are getting desperate. Like incredibly desperate for fresh, high-quality, human-generated data. And that desperation is leading to massive privacy and copyright overreaches. Recent investigations actually revealed that over 173,000 YouTube video transcripts were quietly scraped by major tech companies to train AI, totally without the creators' consent. Platforms like Reddit, major news sites, they're all having their human-written posts swept up. We're even seeing features like Microsoft Recall on Windows PCs, which is literally designed to take constant screenshots of a user's private, local activity. That alone poses massive cybersecurity risks. High-quality human data is basically an ultra commodity now, and it's being taken with almost zero regard for the people who actually created it. And we are seeing the direct, real-world collateral damage of this voracious data appetite falling squarely on the shoulders of human creators. Take the 2024 Pokemon illustration contest, for example. It was completely infiltrated by AI-generated entries that stole spots from actual human artists who had poured hundreds of hours into their craft. Or look at viral audio tracks like the infamous BBL Drizzy song, entirely generated by AI. But here's the thing, the only way text-to-music AI can possibly function is if it's already been fed thousands and thousands of hours of copyrighted human songs. The AI isn't being inspired like a human musician is. It is simply taking data and regurgitating an uncanny amalgamation of stolen work, completely devaluing human creativity in the process. Now, beyond all the digital, copyright, and data poisoning issues we've covered, there is an incredibly heavy physical cost to this technology, too. 1,300 megawatts. That is the estimated amount of sheer computing power required just to train a single model like ChatGPT-3. Machine learning requires a monumental amount of electricity. It's creating this massive, unseen environmental toll that is rarely, if ever, mentioned when these companies are aggressively pushing these features onto every single device we own. To really help us wrap our heads around that number, let's put it into a tangible perspective, because 1,300 megawatts is a lot to visualize. Consuming that much power is the energy equivalent of streaming Ed Sheeran's song Shape of You 195 billion times. 195 billion. Or, looking at it another way, it's enough electricity to power 130 average US homes for an entire year. The digital data race for generative AI is consuming immense, staggering amounts of real-world physical resources. Now, actually, let me pause here because it's incredibly important to clarify something. Artificial intelligence is not inherently bad. When we step away from generative AI, the systems trying to replace artists and writers, we actually find massive, incredible value in utility-driven, non-generative AI. It's brilliant when used as a specialized tool. It helps doctors interpret complex medical MRI scans. It predicts traffic patterns flawlessly for your navigation apps. It can isolate and enhance noisy audio. They literally used that tech to restore an old, messy John Lennon demo so the Beatles could release a final record. When AI is used for analysis, for science, and as a focus tool rather than this flawed replacement for human creation, it is undeniably a good thing. But when it comes to the generative AI slop that's flooding our web right now, we urgently need a strategy to deal with it. And the best path forward actually looks a whole lot like the early days of the internet. Think about the email spam analogy. Our inboxes used to be absolutely flooded with unsolicited, mass-produced junk mail. But what did we do? We didn't just stop using email. We built spam filters. We learned to mentally ignore the junk and focus only on trusted senders. As AI slop becomes the new internet spam, we are going to have to adapt in the exact same way. We're likely going to have to retreat to trusted, human-curated spaces, relying on experts and creators we actually know, while actively tuning out the automated noise. Which brings us to the big question today. The internet is transforming, for sure. The era of assuming a basic web search will yield a human-verified fact is closing. It's being replaced by an ecosystem absolutely saturated with synthetic data, hallucinations, and AI inbreeding. So I want to leave you with this to think about. As the internet fills with synthetic data, where will you choose to put your trust? How are you going to verify what's true? And where will you seek out genuine human expertise in the years to come? It's something we literally all need to start thinking about right now. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll catch you next time.